Holy shit, man! It's Spooky Month and it's time for a book club! Oh man! We're getting together and we're talking about one more spooky book before October is over. I am Sparkz Woody. I am joined, of course, by Ryan Eliopoulos.
I'm here for a hoot and a holler.
And, of course, Ben Magnet.
I'm ready for Spooky Month! I don't want Spooky Month to be over.
And, yeah, me too. And lovingly, Brandon T. McClure is back for a recording with us, which is great.
As always, I am more than happy for Spooky Month to be over.
Nobody's perfect.
You have like extra hatred this year.
I know, like
Yeah,
this
you
is really
do.
bad.
You do have
You did yourself no favors in like trying to like spooky season a bit more.
Yeah, oh well. Hey, it's almost over.
Yeah. How dare you? We're here to talk about Hellaween, which is an original graphic novel from Moss Lawton, both artist and writer. I followed them for a while on Twitter and Instagram because they it's perfectly right here. They have been a story artist for Netflix, Nickelodeon, Disney, DreamWorks, and Warner Brothers on projects like Invader Zim, Enter the Florpus, Troll Hunters, Rise of the Titans, and Monsters at Work.
That totally makes sense now.
So I've been a person who's been following like a lot of the art stuff that they were sharing for a while. So when they had their original graphic novel coming out, I was like, oh dang, that's really cool. I'd love to pick that up. I love Halloween shit, and they're really cool with the art that they make. So that's what we're doing. How'd you guys feel? Let's get some first impressions.
Did you say Troll Hunters, Rise of the Titans?
Yeah.
Very cool. I like that movie quite a bit, except for the very, very, very ending when they ruined the whole thing. But anyway, I thought this was a freaking delight. I really liked this.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will agree. This is a delight. I take so many pictures of like, oh, this is fun, this is cool, and then I literally have 100 pictures, and it's just the entire book.
Sure.
This is. You always pick these fun like indie books all the time, and I wish I picked more, but I'm just too much of a Marvel slut. So like I will only pick Marvel comic books. But this was so delightful. I also love Halloween, and what I love about Halloween is if we look at just the last week of the Halloween stuff we've consumed, we've done a John Carpenter movie, which is a rated R horror movie. We've done Slaughterhouse, which is a horror comedy. We've done we've done something else besides that too.
Five Nights at Freddy's, the Rob Zombie Halloween,
which is a kids horror movie. Rob Zombies, which is a hardcore Halloween movie, and now this, which is like more spoopy than spooky, and it all counts. That's why I love Halloween. Unlike a lot of all holidays I don't care about, like there's a lot of variety with Halloween. It's really great, and this was such a delight to read. I love the characters. The art is so fun. I was literally imagining like, man, this could be a Disney cartoon, and kids would eat it up. I have no qualms with this book. Every time I thought I knew what like the antagonist was going to be, I thought it was going to be the ghost lady. Not really. I thought it was going to be like Kyle, the jock. Not really. And it just kept progressing. And I'm like, man, like it's keeping me on my toes. I loved it. Love this book.
Yeah. Ben?
I didn't like it. I absolutely freaking loved it.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm gonna beat you up.
Yeah, you're gonna come to my house and beat the shit out
I'm
of me.
I'm gonna do the ring and get through your TV.
Yeah. So
that would be wild from my screen, by the way, if you think about it, because you would just disappear, and that would be all I see is this you disappearing.
You need to update the computer for the ring effects to take place.
Ryan just goes out of his screen and into mine. I go, but no,
it's like bad. It's like bad old video game polygon effects. So like you see Ryan disappearing as he comes into this camera, but from Ben's angle, you just see like inside of Ryan. And all it is like the inside of his shirt, because that's all it can load in.
Ryan's he's just all hollowed out. But yeah, I absolutely loved this book. It was an absolute blast to read. I felt like I was reading a Disney Channel Halloween movie. And I loved like the Disney Channel Halloween specials, the Nickelodeon Halloween specials. Like every year when I was a kid, I felt like this should have been a special as a kid when I was a kid. Look, Halloween Town was a event in my house. I made it an event. I made decorating for a Halloween event. Like this, to me, perfectly encapsulates on what Halloween is. It's fun. You have spoopy monsters everywhere. It's not pure horror. I mean, there are parts of it that are a little scary, but it's mostly fun. It's classic monsters without doing like any sort of hardcore horror tropes or whatever. It was just the whole vibe of the book was something that just completely like chilled with me, where it was like, this is the Halloween entertainment I want. This was everything I wanted in a Halloween comic book, and I got it, and I want more. I don't want to push it, but damn it, what did I have a great time with this book.
I did have a question. Have they talked about a sequel book?
No mention so far.
This came out this year. This is the new book.
This is very very
this year. Makes sense.
Yeah, it came out like 2020.
Just a few months ago.
But if we read the book, the end sets up sequel pretty easily, if you ask me.
I do think it's been selling fairly well, so I'm hopeful that down the road, yes, we'll get a sequel. I really hope so. Piggybacking off what Ben was saying, I think this is like the best of the Scooby-Doo kind of stuff that you can get. It's in that vein. The contemporary that I kept coming to that I felt like the vibe of this. You guys are comparing a lot to like, the Disney cartoons and things like that.
Halloween time.
For me, it was the spooky episodes of Gumball. This was like right in the same wheelhouse as Amazing World of Gumball's spookiest episodes, with its humor, with its characters, the way that it was doing it. It really landed in that space. All that to say, like, I love that kind of stuff. So I love this. This is the kind of Halloween comic graphic novel that I wish existed when I was small, because this is the kind of shit I would latch onto so hard. I think the characters are really well established as what they are, very iconic, very quickly for their vibe. I like the skater angle of how they interact with each other, and the pretense of how they set up their world about witches and all the kind of
the Hallowlands.
There's grander world questions about it, but it's not the focus. No. All it is about her feeling like she's alone.
Yeah, and they sprinkle in enough.
Really well.
Yeah, they sprinkle in enough for like keeps it intriguing.
We don't get a lot of information about why there aren't a lot of witches anymore. Why Gwen's for all intents and purposes, as far as we know, the only witch around right now, and we don't really get an answer to why that is. But the question is posed in this book, and kind of like in kind of in a way that's like, well, we don't actually know, which leaves the question for another, which you could establish in another book, like why is Gwen the only one? What happened?
Salem witch trials.
I also wanted to mention I really love the character designs. I think they're great.
I do too. Yeah. I think they're really distinct and they're strong. I think the paneling is really creative throughout the book, and the coloring is so magnetic. I just really like looking at it.
Yes.
It's visually stunning, especially whenever any of the magic or spooky stuff is going on. Some of the character designs in particular, like I really love Esther. Is that her name? Esther?
Is that the ghost? Yeah. The grandma.
She looks great. And I love when she's just like receded to the mirror and dealing with them. And she's just like, I just want you out of my house.
Yeah.
Like, I just kind of don't want you to be here. But I mean, fine, whatever. I love that vibe too. I also, like you, thought that by the time we hit Esther, I was like, oh, she's going to be like our problem that we're going to deal with now. They're going to unite with the normies. And then it was like, nah, she's just chill. She's just there.
I mean, the problem with
in the mirror.
Taking so many pictures is I don't know what I'm looking for now.
I would say Esther's not just chill, but she's just like, that grumpy neighbor who just accepts her fate or accepts the fact that, it's a good comparison to her, like a very early in the film Up, Carl.
Sure,
like
I can see it.
Like he doesn't want Russell at his house, but he kind of has to take him in because reasons.
Black Cat, bad luck.
Black Cat.
7 minutes.
I
found the page I was looking for.
Bad luck.
7 years bad luck. Yeah. I think Esther's really funny. And she's constantly just hounding the kids, and they have to make like a spell circle so people can't get into the house. And Esther's like, "You're tracking mud through my yard." And then Gwen's like, "I thought you didn't want kids in your damn house, Esther." And she's like, "Ah." And that's what all their interactions are, because she's like, "I'm gonna yell at you," and it's like, "Bitch, you're in a mirror." And she's like, "Yeah, you're right." And I was like, "That's really good." And
there's the holy cow, real ghost. What's your name? How long have you been dead? I just cleaned that rug 50 years ago. I'm not telling you my damn name. It's Esther Killinger. Damn it.
Yeah,
like the whole vibe of this book, just it. What's the writer artist's name again?
Moss Lawton.
Moss Lawton nails like the Gen Z sarcastic. They're just like the vibe of kids nowadays. I don't.
Yeah.
I'm in my 30s. I'm like, hello, fellow kids. I don't really know how kids act today, but it just feels like this. Yeah, but this book, just like the way that Miles, oh god, what's the werewolf's name?
Good question.
I forgot her name too. She's the one I keep forgetting. Sloan.
Yeah, Miles,
Werewolf.
Sloan, and Gwen. All three of them. I absolutely adore them. I love how you only see one part of Gwen's eye. You never see her other eye. So she could be blind in one eye. I don't know.
I would legit, if I was a kid and had this book, I would legitimately had a crush on at least two of these characters.
Yeah. I would legit had a crush on Gwen, hardcore. But yeah, just all their interactions are just so pure. They're just so pure, and especially when Gwen talks about it's like, I've waited 11 months for us to hang out for an entire week. Just let me enjoy this.
Yeah, I love the premise alone. It's like, Gwen is this Halloween lady, kind of like an outcast. And like Halloween is her time. And in this world, if you have magical powers, you can open the barrier between the Hallowlands and have some spooky men come in. And those are her BFFs, and that's what she's all about. And for these other characters too, they live in that land. And like they might get tired of it, so they get to come to our world and be a little spooky, and it actually matters. And I think that's fantastic, and it's a win for both these characters. But they both have problems with each other because Gwen's a little too needy. She's a little too like, take me to your horrible land. She's like, guys, girl, you'll die. You can't. That's why we come here to hang out with you. And it's a nice little foil between them.
One of the things I really appreciate is when a story brings you into like the middle of the story and you're not lost. We don't know how Gwen met these two characters. We have no clue in this story, and you don't need to know it. And I really appreciate that the moment the three of them meet in this book, we understand that they have a history together. They have been friends for a long time. We don't know how long. It doesn't really matter. They've just been friends for a long time, and you get that relationship. And that I think is the most important thing you have to establish from the jump in order for us to be on this journey in this book. And I think they nail it right away.
100%. I wanted to say something. Like Brandon, I wanted to extrapolate on Brandon's point a little bit, because he was saying how when we meet these characters, we're not lost. While I did have questions, like I did want to know how they met. I want to know what kind of shenanigans they went into, and I wanted to know more about the Howlands. But this book is written in a way that even though I don't get answers to those questions, I'm not upset about it. Because sometimes when you read a book and they're mentioning an event that happens off page or off screen, and you don't get to see it, and it's this huge thing, and you're like, well, is there going to be a sequel where they explain that, or I have all these questions and I'm not given all these answers, and I want those answers. Sometimes it gets annoying. Sometimes it kind of becomes a detriment to the book. This, on the other hand, isn't. And it doesn't make me want to go, oh God, how this didn't answer my questions. I want more. And while I would like some of those questions answered, like I would like to see a flashback scene of how all three of them met. I think that would have been adorable. If I don't get it for a while, I'm not going to be upset.
See, that's the thing that's really nice about a book like this, that it makes you hunger for more. It doesn't make you think that this book is lacking. You are just saying, I want to be in this world again. Yeah. I want to see another entry in this world, and I'd be more than happy to support that.
100%. It always gives you enough. Like whether you have questions or not, it always gives you enough. So you're like Brian said, like you're not hungry. Like, oh look, no, like that's perfectly fine. Like, hopefully this book gets a bunch of sequels. Because I think it warrants it, especially again, like the ending to be like, we have a little Grim Reaper man who hates people who leave the land. What are we gonna do about that? That's great. I'm excited.
I think everything you guys have said is really well put, and I agree with all of it. I really like, there's a conciseness to the story, but like you can sense that everything is more vast than what you're being given here. So there's room to explore, but there's not a need to explore in this story.
And I like it's. If what I'm about to say sounds negative, I promise it's not. It feels very loose. It doesn't feel like extremely. It feels like people just going on a fun adventure and like they're not thinking too far ahead. But it's obviously clearly plotted out. But like it doesn't feel like plot heavy. It's like these kids are just having fun. Oh, let's go haunt this person. Oh, let's go do this thing. Like it feels just like I'm going on a fun adventure, not knowing where I'm going.
It kind of feels like, real quickly, Sparkz. It feels like they're kids kind of like oh, let's do that. Oh, let's do that. Like it's written in the way of being kind of like on the fly, on your toes. Oh, I want to go do this. Let's go do that. It feels very, 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 again, like
Kids
you said,
being
loose in that way. Yeah, kids being kids. Sorry, Sparkz, go ahead.
Yeah, it's very teenager voice led, and I think that's captured really well because it's very much a we're not really thinking too far ahead because they wouldn't because they're teenagers.
Yeah,
and like the only ones who even kind of do. Miles doesn't because that's more Miles' character. Sloane kind of does, and there's like an implied just wisdom to that.
Yeah,
but like they're all still so young, and that comes across. And so in that like failure to plan ahead, because of your youthful abundance and your desire for adventure and fun, that's how the story unfolds before them, and I think that works really well. They're never like sitting down making like plans about what they need to do XYZ. It's all just like constantly in motion in a way that teenagers are.
Yeah.
So go ahead, Ben.
No, to extrapolate your guys' point, like when the second that Miles and Sloane get into the human realm and they meet up with Gwen, and she's like, "Oh, where were you, goobers? I was waiting for this." Like, "Oh yeah, that broke down. We had to go over to the cemetery." And they immediately go, skate park. They just go, they don't like go to her house and they make this extravagant plan that like every second is planned out so she can spend as much time as she can with her friends. It's literally they show up and they just instantly go to the skate park. They just instantly go. That's kind of
what I think Ryan was talking about also in the beginning of this discussion when he said that, it kind of keeps you on your toes, and it keeps you on your toes because of this kind of loose aspect of the storytelling, because you don't get the sense that these characters are thinking beyond the next page. And while the writer is definitely, because this is a plotted out book, the sense is there that the writer also is not thinking beyond the next page, taking it one page at a time, like a teenager would take it one day at a time, or in their case, 1 hour at a time.
At the gas station, when they meet like Kyle and all those, like the jock and all those other guys, and they're going to go to a spooky house. Oh shit, let's go haunt them. Let's go be spooky.
I know there was a spooky house here.
Yeah. And it's like, sure, like that didn't seem planned. It's like, oh cool, let's do that on our Friday night.
And you get the sense that like, and you get that especially with like Gwen, who decides to use magic to summon something from the Hololands on a whim. She didn't plan anything. She has no plan. She's just, this is the decision I have made now. This is what I'm going to do right now. Because
screw consequences.
Screw consequences. Because again, she's a teenager.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Ryan bringing up the gas station was a good opportunity for me to point out. There's not often that like Lawton does much in the background as far as like very detailed work for you to see something, but every once in a while it's there. And so that gas stop is like a 7-Eleven. It's called Mr. Stoppies. Come get y'all juice.
There's another one. There's the mall. The mall's called The Mall.
Yeah, the mall.
Did you also notice
in Mr. Stoppies, Sloane is getting a Blaha blast.
Blaha.
Did you also notice that they put in a Suncoast inside the mall for one of the panels?
Oh
no,
I didn't notice that.
I saw. Oh yeah, it's like in the early mall pages. There's I think when they're skating around, I think when they're first skating out and the security guard is chasing them.
Yeah, there it is. The logo and everything.
Nice. Yep. There it is.
Oh yeah, it's
there it is.
Oh,
I saw that. I'm like, huh.
Wow. Incredible. This book has shot up in my estimation way more.
This
is the kind of look, we live, and let me sit in this moment for a minute. We live in a world right now.
You become nostalgia's bitch.
That is predominantly fueled by nostalgia. We everything we get now is almost predominantly fueled by nostalgia. All the pop culture is all about the 90s and the 80s and whatnot. And never, ever do you see a movie set in the 90s where they go to Suncoast. Ever. A comic book. Never once. You never hear about Suncoast. You never see a sign anywhere. Ever, ever, ever. And I cannot believe that offhandedly Sparkz picked probably the only book to come out, probably the only piece of media to come out this year, in fact, probably in the last 5 years, to acknowledge the existence of Suncoast.
Mm-hmm.
This is a freaking sign.
Yeah, literally.
Incredible.
Really good catch, Ben. I totally missed that. So great job. Thank you for pointing that out.
Yeah, I got them all, and I was like, that's the best one.
That's really good. But I love when there's little, and like honestly, because it's an easy read, you can breeze past some of the stuff a little too quickly, and there are like some hidden details that are worth picking up, like Suncoast. I want to talk a little bit about the Helsing kids, which I really love as a nickname for them, the little Helsing Juniors.
Yeah. Being Hero.
I think again, going back to the like teenager thing, Hero motivation wise wouldn't 100% work for me generally, but because the teenager voice through the whole story and then through Hero is so good, I buy the way that Hero kind of doesn't really think about what they're doing or have a plan on what they're doing, and like constantly is stepping in it a little deeper than they mean to, because it's just it really comes down to an obsession of like, I'm right and I want my blog to be popular, and like it's those two things, and like everything else is just kind of wishy-washy. And so like Hero's not thinking about it a lot, and that would normally bother me, but like in the context here it doesn't, because again that teenager voice is so well captured for them.
I was really surprised we never got a flashback for what he was talking about.
Yeah, I was too. And like I did find, I'll be honest, like around like the third time that Hero said, 4 years ago, my dad almost died by swerving the car. And I was like, all right, I mean, like, I don't know, let that go a little bit. Like how dramatic are we being, teenager? But I also think that's part of the point. Again, capturing that teenager voice, like
they hold on
deal, and it's like, it really isn't though.
And also I don't want to say to defend Hero a little bit, but also he's a kid, and even though it's like to him swerving off the side, I mean his dad may have been like a swerving. His dad was like, "Oh, that could have been bad," and he just kept driving. He was a little kid when it happened, or he was smaller. It could have been this huge traumatic event. Like when we look back on things, we were like, "Huh." As an adult, that actually wasn't that bad. But when I was a kid, I remember this incident. It was the most traumatic thing in my life.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like it contextually, like the dad's just like, whoa, something in the road there. Like, and that kid is like, we almost died. My dad almost died.
I always appreciate, and It's Always Sunny, Pepe Silva reference, and that's definitely just in time. You're coming with me. I love a good corkboard red line thing. I love B. She's like the straight-laced one, but she always has her rats on her 24 hours a day. Any panel has rats on her, and I think that's great. That's because like that's completely unrealistic, but we're doing a fun Halloween book, so she's always hanging out with her rats. I love that.
Yeah, I just find it hilarious how she takes care of her rats. And when you see a character who has a pet like rats, lizards, or anything that's not a dog or a cat, and she's constantly talking about how much she hates Halloween. I just love how it's something completely
woman after
different.
my own heart.
Yeah, and then her whole family is just like Halloween obsessed. And when the trio, like when Gwen, Miles, and Sloan are walking through the house, and their kids are doing all these crazy Halloween skits, and Miles is all like, "These kids are really talented." Yeah,
there's like a chainsaw event happening in the background, and it's just like kids going, and like it's lovely.
Hilarious.
Yeah,
there's a line that I really like, where it's the vampire kid. What's his name? Miles. He says, "Besides, I got this. Now I can drink blood on the go." And then Gwen just goes, "Blood from where? Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it."
When she puts the glamour spell on Miles, and he's all like this, and he's like, "Wait, I look like a normie. Do you know what this means? What? We can go to the mall."
There's a montage. I love a good montage.
Yeah. Just them skanking around the arcade. The whole arcade bit was hilarious, and they go to the Hot Topic, but not Hot Topic, but Hot Topic in the glory days before it went not the best. And
just like a Hot Topic, a bunch of kids go there and spend a bunch of time there and don't buy anything, so the people in the store get mad at them. Like, that makes sense.
And they're like, "Can you like buy something to kick them out?" And then they go to the arcade for a bit, and Miles is all mad at the crane machine. Just this whole book is just we've been saying it a lot, but it is such a vibe, and it's such a fun vibe. And it's not a fish out of water story where all these where where Miles and Sloane are like experiencing things in the human world for the first time. They've been here before. This is like they've been hanging out with Gwen for almost 4 years on Halloween week.
That'll be a flashback with you.
Yeah, but at the same time, them being able to go to the mall for the first time because Gwen figured out a glamour spell because, you know, Miles is blue. He has a blue tint to his skin. And it's like, it's hilarious how they're having fun there.
That was a cool bit of lore, by the way, the blue tint to the skin. Also, him being like, yeah, the Dracula book's actually super accurate. None of the movies are, though.
Yeah. And she's like, wait, is Santa Claus real? Oh, no, he's fake.
He's a human fiction.
Krampus is real, though.
Yeah.
Go on, that's with that guy.
That's a Christmas I love.
I really, another sign I want to highlight is the maze, because at the end they go to like the corn maze, and the sign that I for some reason just really like it's like 62 whole acres. Under that, it's big.
Yeah, because you probably can't realize how big 62 acres is when you just read it. It's really big.
Yeah,
it's really big. It's big.
It's pretty damn big.
Yeah, I think like going back to like the skater motif, I think one of my favorite things about it is that Gwen uses her broom like a skateboard. That's one of my favorite things is that she rides on it in a skater style, and I'm like, oh, contextually this really works. So, like, it makes sense that she would do that. I love her, or the arc of her getting the grimoire, getting her broom to fly, all that kind of stuff, and then building all the way up to the end where it's like, hey, it like doesn't really matter. If the wand doesn't work that well because you just like summoned a big shield out of freaking nowhere.
Yeah.
So like the magic is definitely in you. So you can just do this. And I love her like just improvising it.
All of her spells that rhyme that she makes up is really fun. Like the very beginning one. Hold on, I gotta pull up. It's the dancing skeleton one. I loved it. It's a skeleton, bones and plastic. Bust a move, you'll dance fantastic. And then I just want to tattoo on my face. I love that.
I also just love how, like at the beginning when she's talking about how she made a new wand and they're like, oh, what'd you make it out of this time? She's like, I had to use it on my old skateboard, and they all have like a salute to Gwen's old skateboard. And
Axel Ottle was the name of the skateboard too.
Yeah, Axel Ottle. And even when because
just want to pull up that picture of the kid hugging his cell phone turned frog,
and the frog is even bugging it back.
Yeah, the frog is reacting. I love the humor in this book. I love things like, man, I can't go back home with a frog instead of a phone again.
Yeah. Again.
What do you mean again? I love that kind of stuff. And also like that promotes Hero to like confront them and be like, I'm gonna send you back to hell, you servants of the demons. Also, fix my phone.
Oh, and then when they're holding, when B is holding the wand to like turn the frog back into a phone, and then they're just like, don't move, we'll shoot. He's just holding the frog.
This is my favorite panel.
Halloween is forever.
Yeah, like it's not Halloween yet. Halloween is forever.
Yeah.
And then in that same page, you can't catch us. We have the power of the devil and anime on our side.
Oh,
which is a great rip off that old vine of the power of God and anime. I'm like, this is the person who's young enough who can still write kids, but also old enough to know a bunch of meme content. Like it's perfect. It's perfectly written.
I don't know why, but one of my favorite panels or one of my favorite moments in this book is when they were all in the house haunting the seniors, and one of the girls like bonks herself on with her frying pan, then of course, and then Miles just takes it up, just looks and goes, "Be positive."
Also, I wanted to go back to the teens who go into that house. Was your guys' read the same as mine, which is that those were two queer couples?
It seemed
I thought so.
Yeah. That was my read as well.
Yeah.
When I first saw the girls when they went off on their own, I thought, oh, okay, they're queer, and then the jock and the other kid, I was like, are they?
The jock is like being protective and looking after the same way you would write it if it was him looking after a female companion. So I'm like, I think that was the intent. I think the intent is that they're both two queer couples, and it's like just kind of like throwing out the like typical expectation and norms. I think that was the intention.
Yeah, I think
it's not overt enough for me to say for sure, but like that was the vibe I was picking up.
Yeah,
which I like. I thought that was fun.
Yeah,
I just love this whole book.
Yeah, I do too. It's a really good time.
The summoning at the end with, you either have like the scarecrow man or the giant pumpkin worm. Both really great designs. We think we're gonna have like another, like, I think a big confrontation is gonna happen with this Scarecrow man. Just gets eaten up by the pumpkin thing. Love it. Nice and easy.
I know we've been talking. If I may, really quick, I know we've been talking a whole lot about the story, the characters, and everything. I want to highlight the art because, as Sparkz said, Moss Lawton wrote and drew this. This art is fantastic. Like I said earlier, that this reminds me of a Disney or a Nickelodeon cartoon, and they completely deliver on that vibe. Like Ryan, when you showed us the page, when she just points to Halloween is forever, is like I could just see that being animated. And this
it's a very Invader Zim pose.
Yeah, very much so. And I absolutely just love this art, Lawton's art style, and I want this turned into a cartoon. We're probably not going to get it, but I just would love this as like a short animated special.
I wanna quickly, obviously Moss Lawton did the artwork and wrote it, and it's incredible. The colors were done by Victoria Harris. I know Sparkz highlighted the colors earlier. I also want to exemplify. I think the color design in this book is really, really good. Some of the most standout I've seen.
Yeah,
100%.
I thank you for doing that. Because absolutely, like the art is stunning and the colors are so powerful. I think the colors work really well. I think this was a note I was going to bring up anyway. So when we're doing the her banishing the pumpkin patch worm, which is really great. That Beetlejuice looking thing. When she's casting the spell, like you're getting a green overlay on her. And I'm like, I don't know if necessarily the intention is that her skin is turning green when she's using a spell like this,
like a witch.
But certainly like it's playing with the idea of the lighting, making it look that way. And I think that's really fun. A really good use of the color, like, her reverting to classic witch style appearance for something that powerful.
Absolutely.
I also think it's a really good use of the one swear, "Begone, you bitch."
They say damn.
They do say damn.
And like what I love about it is like, this is something I'll remember the rest of my entire life. Hey Arnold, they said the word crap in it.
Oh, yeah.
And because of Hey Arnold, I said crap in front of my mom, and she took that like I said, "Go kill yourself, woman." Like she was very anti, and then I eventually grew up and she stopped caring about that stuff. But like this, like kids' books, like like kids swear and like they think it's cool and they get away with it, and I'm like, that's cool, because like it's not like they're like dropping F-bombs, but like I think it feels really natural. Like this is really naturally written for being extremely like a weird book, which I super love.
Also, again, like going back to humor and stuff, I really love when they've got like the demented scarecrow after them, and then the worm eats it, and Miles is like, "Hey, one less problem."
Yeah.
Look at that, one down. Hey.
He even does the finger. He goes, "Hey."
Yeah.
Sorry if I look at the I was for a little while I was trying to find Moss Lawton's social pages because I just want to find them and just praise them to high heaven about how much I love this book.
Now,
it's
her hair.
really great.
I don't want to call myself out too much here, but her hair is pink.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
That's quite cool. I wish I could have seen that.
Yeah. It looks really good.
Yeah.
I think that all the designs are really, really strong. I really loved also like just the tiny bit of the story where I was like, I would also enjoy just a lot of this, which is normal, casual monster teens, magical teens find out that other teens are doing the stereotypical, "We're going to go check out the haunted house." And they're like, "Oh my God, we're going to screw with them so hard.
Yeah.
We're going to screw with them so hard." And they really do. And I think it's a ton of fun. And then it's like, "Oh shit, we summoned a real ghost."
But then again, also not really a problem.
No, not for them, but definitely for the humans. It's like a nightmare when they encounter Esther.
And then like when Esther's just in her mirror, she's like, "You put a binding spell on me in my own house." And they're like, "Wait, what happened?" She's like, "I'm not going to tell you shit." And then she's just like this grumpy neighbor who just like, "Yeah, whatever."
It's a great ghost design.
Esther's a really great ghost design, but like you've got the blood dripping down from the walls as she's shrieking from the mirror, and those teens are just like, "Oh God, it won't budge. We can't get out." And then she's like, "Leave now, or perhaps the afterlife will show you kindness that I will not." And then Kyle's just like, "You got it, boss. Never coming back." I might come back. Hazel, no.
I like Halloween now.
Yeah.
I like spooky.
Like when Hazel's like, "I might," and they're like, "No." It's like no, bad girl, don't.
Oh, yeah, she gets possessed for a hot second. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, and they knock Gwen back into the mirror, which puts
What's the back say?
Belongs.
Learning to become a witch is hella difficult.
Hella difficult.
That's cute.
Hellaween. Yeah. I could sit here and praise. One last thing, I just like B's family of festive, like the dad who's super into it, just has all the kids working all the different angles, and apparently like has Halloween shit everywhere in this town, including his own house, which like I can't truly fathom the scope of.
It's something you aspire to.
Yeah. I love it. I think it's such a fun, spooky little book. Perfect for young ones to get into the Halloweeny vibes, and again, like we've gone over, it captures that teen voice so well.
One of my favorite jokes is every Halloween, Hero thinks he's Jack Zaggins, host of Ghost Scramblers, and that's making fun of Zach Baggins, who's the silly host of all those ghost hunting shows. He hosts a Halloween like pumpkin carving competition show, and he just like phones it in on a TV. He doesn't even show up, and it's like, you're an awful man. I hate you. But it's really funny. Make fun of him here because he's silly.
The B's dad reminds me a lot of this family who lived right by my elementary school growing up, and every year for Halloween they did a haunted house. Like it was 100% free neighborhood haunted house, and it was scary. As in, they did not mess around. They were like, "Oh no, we're going all out," and it was awesome because it was a free neighborhood thing. The sign was up. And like the week of Halloween, they're like haunted house. They have the hours. The line was down the block, and it was a thing. People all around my neighborhood would go to their house just for the haunted house, to experience the haunted house.
That's gonna be.
I remember going to houses like that when I was young. They're great. Like when you have the opportunity, the means, and the passion. It's really cool when people do that. And clearly, Moss Lawton has experienced that. And wanted to replicate it here, and like has that passion for this spooky time of season, and honestly, love it.
You know what? There's a video game, a great video game called Candy Quest. I don't know if you guys ever played it. Costume Quest. Thank you. Then you know it. Yeah, that is a game where you dress up as kids for Halloween, and then the town gets invaded by like ghouls, and you become the costumes that you wear. So like you are the Statue of Liberty, then you become a giant mecha Statue of Liberty, or you're like a knight, you become a giant knight. That's like a turn-based role-playing game. Then it's awesome. They made 2 Costume Quest games, and I immediately got the vibe of that from here. Yeah, you're right. That's so good.
That would have been like the best Halloween game for me to play as a kid, because I cannot tell you how many times where I dress up as something for Halloween. It's like, man, I want to be the thing I am for Halloween.
It's a sick. That's like a 360 era game. Missed that. Love it.
Also, it's a super minor thing, but like the idea of calling the people who come from the Hallowlands, first calling it the Hallowlands, then calling them Hallows, I think is all just really cool. That's great Halloween spooky time lore stuff.
Yeah.
Moss Lawton did a really great job just integrating that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I know I brought it up a couple times, but like the ending of like you see, the
little pumpkin.
Who left the friggin' hole in the universe? Nothing gets past my seal. If there's a rogue Hallow, I'm gonna be pissed. And like he reminds me of like Sam from I
got the same vibes.
Trick or Treat a little bit, just a little nicer. It's ripe for sequel material.
Yep. When I was reading this, and I don't know why, because when I was just laying down on my bed, it was a lot. I was laying down on my bed, and then when I was reading it for a second, I was like starting to fall asleep, and then I sat back up and finished reading it. But as I was reading it, the first time I read Hallows, I read it as Hollow, and I was like, Bleach? Where's Ichigo?
So I won't. I obviously I haven't checked every single post from Moss Lawton, but I hadn't seen anything about a sequel, and it's also possible I wasn't looking too much into it because I wanted to read the book.
Yeah.
But I will say, because I own the copy, if you guys want to look right here, there's a nice little number 1 at the top of the book. So
just in case.
Who knows?
There you go.
Hopefully, I think it's been received very well. It's the right time of year for it. It came out just a couple months ago, so really, really happy about this. Really glad that you guys enjoyed it so much. I think it's just a killer good time.
It's a perfect cap to the Halloween season.
Yeah, I love this. I love the vibe of it. It's just a ton of fun.
It really is. To me, this is like it's a fun Halloween book that you just want all the vibes of Halloween. And really, this is one of those books where it's a I really can't describe how this book makes me feel, because it's all the stuff of Halloween that I wanted and loved as a kid. It's the spoopy vibes that you have some terror. It's like, it's fun. It's Halloween. You know what? You know what this is? This is Halloween.
It's a warm
fun.
cup of cocoa.
I recommend to you Scooby-Doo. just a suggestion, maybe like you really want this particular vibe, Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost.
Okay.
If you really want this particular vibe, Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost. Which is one of the best. One of the best.
Is that one of the ones you gave me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
But if you want to watch the best Scooby-Doo movie, you watch Zombie Island.
That's Zombie Island. Like if you want to do, they're kind of in an order because they're like their own continuity thing. You do Zombie Island because that's when like the first time they encounter real monsters, and then the Witch's Ghost is also a real monster thing, and so like you go from there, and then after that is Alien Invaders, and like it's good. It's not great.
Okay.
Cyber Chase is all right.
Cyber Chase is solid. Is solid. You would really like that one. Do you know the premise of Cyber Chase, Ben?
You told me the premise of Cyber Chase.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Basically, that's a 4 set of films. They're all solid Scooby-Doo films that were done in like their own continuity at that time. So you start at Zombie Island, you go to Witch's Ghost, Alien Invaders, Cyber Chase. Cyber Chase really brings everything full circle.
Jinkies.
Nice.
Yeah. Brandon, in particular, I'm really thrilled that the characters in this and everything really worked for you and connected with you because, it's Halloween. So the fact that like even past all that, like all of this was something you could get down with and enjoy. Really excited about that. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, it's Ben's turn next time.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what it is?
I do not, unfortunately.
All right. That's fine.
I was having so much fun reading this one that I completely forgot it was my turn. And then now that you mention it, I'm like, oh shit, what do I pick?
We got time.
Yeah, we do. We have some time.
So stay tuned for that. Obviously, book clubs coming. There's archives, tons of archives you can check out. There's of course Wasted Space on the docket. We'll return to volume 5 of that any week now. So stay tuned for all that juicy fun stuff. Guys, the Spooktobers, by the time you're watching this, are probably on the way out. But Basement Arcade Spooktober has been going like madmen. Sparkz has been furiously at the computer. His fingers now bony stumps. Getting those Basement Arcades out there, and we could not be more grateful.
I wish I had a skeleton arm prop that we definitely have in this house somewhere on hand, so I could have just held it up.
Here, just wrap your hand around here. He doesn't have a hand anymore.
Your hands are see-through now.
Yeah,
I'm Hollow Man. I'm Hollow Man.
If Brandon is the right amount of high in the morning, that skeleton arm would have really thrown him off.
Guys, the spooky season is all over Spooktober for Basement Arcade. Basement Arcades, tons of things you can check out. Some Five Nights at Freddy's, some Dead Space, some Evil Dead the game, Dead by Daylight. Choo Choo Charles is most recently up at the time of this recording. I'm sure I missed tons. There's a lot.
By the time you got like the most recent stuff.
By the time Halloween's over, there will be 24 videos out.
Yeah.
There you go. Check it out. Please check out all those out. Greatly appreciate that. There's plenty of other shows you can check out on this channel. Basement Arcade Pause, Mini Animation Station, yada, yada, yada. A lot of that stuff is strike prohibited. So please go to our website at fichtnerpodcast.com to check out what is strike prohibited and what is not. And you can find links to where you can subscribe to them, where you can follow them, all sorts of things there. And so that's that. Of course, you can also check out our TeePublic and our Patreon if you'd like to support us financially. That's also on our website, which is also linked below. Everything you can find everything linked below. It's all there. We make it pretty easy for you guys. You can also check us out on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, all at Fichtner Podcast. I'm at BT McClure on Instagram and Twitter. I also write for AtomicGeekdom.com sometimes. Ben, where can people find you?
Well, they could find me spooping it up at BenMaggot27, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Threads. And you can also find me writing for Old School Gamer Magazine, Fusion Gaming Magazine, GoNintendo.com. And if you can't get enough of the spooky goodness, go check out my D&D style real play podcast, D and Dark, where I play Mary Frankenstein.
Speaking of Scooby-Doo, by the way.
Oh yeah, our Halloween special, Call of Cthulhu, the first part, because it's a Patreon special. The first part of it is now up on the D and Dark audio feed. So if you subscribe to the D and Dark podcast, you also get the first part of that, but only the first part, because if you want the rest of it, you gotta have to subscribe to the Patreon.
That's how I get you.
Cool.
Have you guys listened to it yet?
I am almost done with it. I was. It's very funny when you hear everyone introduce themselves as who they're playing. Sparkz, I can find you.
You can find me knowing in my heart that Halloween is forever at Sparkz Witty on Instagram and Twitter, SPARKZ Witty.
And Ryan.
You can find me keeping the spirit of Halloween alive all the time at DJ Tony Snark all over the internet.
All right, guys, so that'll do it. Like this video, subscribe to this channel, subscribe on all your podcatcher of choice, rate and review. We greatly appreciate it. Until next time we see you guys, stay
Buy this book.
Buy this book.
I just want to know, what are we going to do?
This is Halloween?
No. I was going to say, holy shit, Sparkz, it's freaking spooky month. But it's spooky month is almost over, so.